from several individuals out here. In one word, we've all been hearing that they're just sensationalizing circumstances to suggest, as was just done, that the tragic lives lost in our city were brought up here tonight, as they've been brought up numerous other times, were brought up to suggest that any actions by administration through budget constraints, what have you, cost the lives of those people. That's what they want us all to believe when they make such statements, these sensational statements from playing 911 tapes, etc. These are serious issues, serious consequences of our decisions, yet time and time again, dozens of times over, we've been brought with little snippets of information, little snippets of time, without the full picture, without time for this administration and others to put things into context. You know, we had, for example, we heard, and I'm not going to go on much longer, but we had a significant house fire on Labor Day weekend. I think it was last year, might have been the year before. And if you piece back the times when that dispatch person from the Elyria Fire Department said, hey, we were not there any sooner because of a station being closed, and asked the time or the condition of the fire, the owner described it, the entire house was on fire. At the point she said the entire house was on fire, that station, our entire department could have been at the Pizza Hut down the street from this fire. Our entire department could have been located there, and we're not going to arrive by the time she said my entire house is on fire. You know, these are elements that don't come out until days later, when it takes a lot of nerve to hear from our professionals to suggest that we are manipulating and twisting things, and when that's all we've heard for years on end from individuals within this department, and suggested furthermore that we need to let them, without any abandon, with all abandon, to just do as they say fit. I'm not going to name names, but one of the leaders of this department sat in my office less than 2 years ago, pounding fists on the table, saying, given the choice between having a firefighter at the radio versus on the scene, I'll take him at the radio every time. And I challenge that person to show me in the NFPA standards, not to be shown. And today, less than 2 years after me challenging him, is now one of the strongest advocates of dispatch going over to 911. And I can give example upon example of very similar conversations had by me, people within my office, and the professionals who are far more skilled. Obviously, there's no comparison in their skill, professionalism, and knowledge of what they do. No question about it. But I'm elected on behalf of the residents of our city to employ whatever resources are available to me at the time, looking at professional journals, and us collectively to hire a McGrath consulting group to ferret through these items. Now, can items within this contract be pulled apart, as you saw the exchange between President Martz and one of the consultants? Yes, but the entire message is what the point here is. And the point is that there are opportunities. And to Mr. Horton's comments about elements within the contract that have been negotiated, and my administration did this, that, what have you. Well, here's a chance, an opportunity. We're in contract negotiations. Here's an opportunity to clean the slate. So if there's an element or a dozen elements that he believes we put in, what have you, here's the opportunity to make it all right. It's right in their lap. They can clear the slate. They can right any wrong that they think this administration or any others has done. Here's their opportunity. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. One of the things that
and I encourage the board to take this 65-page document and put it into the perspective that they can be heard. They deserve to be heard. However, what I didn't hear was what are the opportunities to go forward. I'm not real bright, but every time I walked into this town, you've had less firefighters. Whatever you're doing isn't working. You have less and less and less. Is that there is room within the contract to work to keep people's jobs and provide the protection. There needs to be some trust, and I understand there's a history and perhaps there hasn't been trust. But if both sides really want it, and we can come up with a page by page, we don't with the data we have, all right? I can stand up here and say the NFPA is on a mandatory standard. The 90% applies to the whole 6 minutes, not just the 4 minutes, not just the turn-up time, not just the dispatch time. And the data you have says you meet it. If there's new data that says you don't meet it, and it's been like that for years, I would think that everyone would be very concerned. But I think this is a book of opportunities. What I didn't hear, and what I hope to hear, and what I hope happens from this, is that you take this and you work cooperatively together to provide the best protection that you can within your fiscal capabilities. There is no question. One of my consultants deals fiscally. That's why I brought him. And my job to him was, tell me if this is a true crisis. Is this city really in fiscal crisis or is it not? And he came back and said, profoundly they are. So there has to be some concessions all the way around. There has to be some trust building. And so I'm very pleased that you allowed me to present that document and look at it. I mean, if you want, we can go through. We have different interpretations. We can go item by item. I don't think it's going to be beneficial because I'm not hearing what are the opportunities.
We put one of our employees that was a registered nurse in charge of this program, and we're going to take a paramedic off each shift and try to develop our EMS system. I plan to come to you as soon as we're ready to go with the 911 dispatch, which is hopefully going to be in the next couple of weeks here. So I will give you more information on how the 911 dispatch is going to work. We're going to have to probably work through some problems with it and that, but everything's on track. We made contact with Life Care to try to improve our relations with Life Care and try to bolster our EMS system at that rate right now also. And we are currently in the process of moving the offices back over to station number 1 for better command and communications with all the firefighters. And after tonight, I was looking forward to, Mr. President, if we could either through the safety committee or develop a new committee where we can get together and start working on some of these recommendations and get the fire department moving forward again. Okay,
did you want to comment about the training schedule?
Yes, we went ahead and put a priority training schedule from now on, from 09 to 12 o'clock in the afternoon will be designated training time, and also from 1 o'clock in the afternoon to 4 o'clock in the afternoon is designated training time. Now, it's designated training time because training is going to take priority, but during these times also it'll be up to the shift commander to designate building inspections to be done, site plans to be done, or whatever other fire department jobs need to be done during the day. But it is designated to be training time.